Basically, I had this in my hand with the light on, pointing at the paper. It was really dim. And I said to you, didn't I? I said, why is this so dim? You've put new batteries in it. I can't understand why it's so dim. And then suddenly, boom, the light come on. Interestingly, that just reminded me, we were actually talking about witchcraft when it happened. I was reading the notes on the witchcraft.
You were?
If you recall, I was reading the notes on the witchcraft and suddenly the torchlight come on. And a minute ago I was talking about witchcraft and we heard footsteps. I have not wanted to leave anywhere other than Dale's graveyard as much as I want to leave here.
Yeah.
I don't want to be here. I'm genuinely quite worried about our safety.
Mate.
Fuck off.
What was that?
Okay.
Are any of the two young... No.
Still hear more footsteps.
Are any of the two young lads who passed away here in a fire? What? What?
Fuck, something's moving around me.
What do you mean?
There's footsteps around me, there's footsteps.
Whoa, mate.
Where?
Whoa, shit,
What?
okay. I just saw a face behind you.
Right, okay. Literally, Brian's been gone 2 minutes. My torch is packed up.
Fuck was that?
EVP session number 1.
Oh, that wasn't nice. There was a heavy noise over there then. Heavy noise. And that's exactly where I thought I saw that figure.
Right, I'm back at the area yet again where something run through me earlier.
What the fuck was that? Right guys, so tonight we are back here at St Mary's Church in Tintern. Obviously last time, as you would have seen in the previous video, we had to cut the investigation short because unfortunately the weather was horrendous, wasn't it? It started to rain terribly, all of our equipment was getting wet. So we've come back to resume the investigation, and tonight we're going to finish off where we left off basically. So last time it felt like there was a really overpowering presence amongst us at this site. So much so that we said at the end of the last video that this time when we come back, we're going to actually split up. And we were wondering all the way here on the journey here, weren't we? Who's going to do what? Are you going to go into the church or are you going to go into the graveyard, and who's going to take who on? Well, we've now decided that because as we've been here tonight setting up yet again for the second time in a row, we've had weird stuff happen already, haven't we? And it's just been very, very strange.
Very dark stuff as well.
Yeah, so I'm going to take you through what's happened to me first, and then I'm going to swap over and Nathan can say his bit. And as we're here in the graveyard, we started and we were walking this way, weren't we?
Yep.
And we just went for a walk just to scope out whether anyone was here, and you know, because obviously we want to make sure the site is clear before we start. And we were just walking down there and straight up, and you've got the big gravestones over there and the sarcophagus.
Should we head up and have a walk around?
Let's do that.
Exactly where it happened.
I'd like to point out as well that this time that we came, we both felt relatively calm, didn't we?
Yeah, well, you actually said to me, you said, you know, do you still feel like there's something in the tower of the church, etc. And I honestly didn't.
Well, because last time you said that the windows were quite ominous and you expected something to come out of the windows, but tonight it just seemed really calm. It was on this path we were walking up.
I think it's as night started to fall and the sun's starting to set, it's just taken on a whole different vibe again.
The atmosphere changes. I think it was about here, roughly.
Yeah, because you were just behind me, so yeah.
So I was walking behind Nathan, he was leading up, and what we were doing, we were just scoping the whole perimeter of the site. Nothing out of the ordinary, and we were just having a look all the way around. Planning the investigation as well. Who's going to do what, and you know, just seeing what's here.
What equipment, where we set it up, etc.
Yeah. And mind I had last time, we were in the graveyard and we didn't really feel anything unusual. As soon as I got to this point, I shuddered, didn't I?
Yeah.
And you actually turned around
you almost like your legs kind of went from beneath you a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
It was weird, because I heard you make a noise, turned around, and I thought you were going to like fall.
Yeah. Well, you turned around and you were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." But I wasn't in that time where I should have. The only way I can describe it, it felt like something ran straight through me, which I've never felt. It's a feeling I've never felt before. It felt like it knocked something out of me, like I felt in my stomach, like something dropped. And kind of, you said it, like an anxiety feeling.
Yeah.
But I wasn't particularly scared.
You were right as rain straight after it as well.
Yeah, it literally lasted probably about a second and then had gone.
Just heard a noise over by the church then, but could be wildlife, potentially.
Possibly. So it's a feeling I've never felt before. It's a feeling I haven't felt since we've been here, since that's happened. And I can't explain it. It could be completely nothing and completely psychological.
Something to take note of, that I've noticed there's a lot of bugs around tonight.
Yeah.
Before when we come it's quite damp, so there wasn't many around, but tonight there's quite a few around, so something to look out for on the cameras. Obviously in night vision they can look quite different.
Oh yeah. So I think tonight what I'm going to do, I mean that's the only weird experience I've had so far, and I think what I'm going to do is basically, because of that experience, that basically kick-started the night and that made the decision in our heads that I would take on the graveyard. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to run a few tests out here. So I'm probably going to do a bit of a K2 session out here, I think.
Yep.
I might do an EVP session. I'll see how I go.
Are you going to have a wander around the graveyard or stay in one space? Or
we're going to have a wander around.
There's quite a...
Yeah, there's a lot to explore here, and there's a lot of...
I would focus quite a lot here, obviously, with what happened, but I think it'd definitely be interesting to see you have a walk around. And
100%.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
And obviously, we've got the stories of the skeletons that were once dug up here as well, haven't we? So
yeah.
That is something to take note of as well, whether there is still the spirits of the monks that once resided and haunted those people.
Right, should we head up to the church?
Yes.
And explain what's going to happen over there.
Tonight, obviously, I'm going to be doing like a K2 and a few other experiments whilst I'm out here in the graveyard. You're going to be in the church. We're going to run a bit of a joint experiment, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
I think I'm on the receiving end of this one a bit.
You are, although it depends how you look at it. You know, we're both separated. But we're going to try another experiment similar to what we did at a previous video, which was the spider-infested burial chamber. Obviously, that was for anyone that wants to laugh. Go check that video out.
Yeah,
so
that
obviously
was,
I'll leave the link up here.
Hilarious for everyone else but us.
Yeah, basically. Don't watch if you're an arachnophobe, that's all I'll say. But we run an experiment in there where we did an EVP session, but we did it indirectly, and we did it through walkie-talkies. We're going to do a similar thing tonight. We're going to use walkie-talkies, however, you're going to be in the church, I'm going to be in the graveyard, and it's going to be through a spirit box as well. So
yeah, I'm not actually going to be using the walkie-talkie. I'm going to have the walkie-talkie set up next to the spirit box.
Yeah.
And you're actually going to ask the questions to the spirit box where I am.
Yeah. I'm
just literally going to sit there or stand there, listen for responses, and yeah, just see what responses we get. I often find when you're doing spirit box and you're asking questions, you're not always listening as intently as you could be, are you?
No, exactly. But I think when you're in there tonight, your senses are going to be
very heightened,
ultra high. Yeah.
Right, so let's head up to the church. As you probably got from the last video, I'm not looking forward to this. I think there is genuinely something.
What did you hear?
Footsteps there.
Where?
Here. Genuinely, I thought that was actually a real person. And it begins.
Can I point out, this was your idea last time?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, as you're probably aware from last time. Is there voices there?
Do you know, I think I heard something, but I zoned out because I just assumed it was something else. Like, I assumed it was natural noise. I did hear something.
God, I feel a real tightness around my throat as well. Right, I'm going to try and get my sentence out again. Yeah, I didn't enjoy it here last time. I genuinely think there's something very dark in this church. I've explained that to you quite a few times. I was more than happy to leave last time. In fact, I would arguably say, thank fuck for the rain. So this is going to be difficult. I'm genuinely scared about tonight, and genuinely worried about what may or may not happen. What hasn't helped that is obviously we've finished editing the last video here, and we've watched it back, and witnessing some of the noises and experiences we had that night makes me more nervous about tonight. Sometimes you think maybe the noises are in your head, but when you've actually got the evidence back on camera and you're watching it back to go back to that place after, makes it a whole lot more intense. Don't you agree?
Some of those noises were really loud as well, especially at one. It sounded like a rock or something was thrown.
Yeah, and as I said to you, if whatever's here has the energy to launch a brick or stone or whatever it was, then in my opinion they have the energy to do damage.
Potentially.
What's not helped is what I believe I saw while setting up a camera, and it's not like anything I've ever seen before. That sounded almost like a horse.
You heard that?
Galloping. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it could be, actually.
Yeah, but where? Where can a horse gallop around here?
True.
Literally, it's just gone dark as we've been filming this piece, so. And the REM pod's going off already.
Well, it's a spoiler alert. We set a REM pod off. Interesting.
I'm nervous because of what you told me before.
Right, that is the temperature setting on the REM pod.
Okay. Okay.
So you've, yeah.
Checking nothing else is amiss.
So we've brought Elizabeth with us tonight because it has been a very, very long time since we brought Elizabeth. But that's not all.
Nope.
We have brought, through here, captured on a locked off camera as well,
You know Henry Doll?
a Henry doll. So we've both haunted dolls with us tonight. And it was actually here where you can tell your story, because this is where it happened to you, I believe.
Yeah, well, I was actually setting up this locked off camera. So I stood here, setting up the locked off camera, and I saw out the corner of my eye, bear in mind it was daylight then, what looked like a figure looking up, almost trying to climb up from down here. Now, the only way I can describe this figure...
Let me just get a torch on that as well.
You see that better with the torchlight?
Yeah.
Well,
So
I
it's
believe
literally
that
like a
may
massive...
have been a burial tomb, I don't know.
Yeah, it's quite a drop down there.
Yeah.
Oh, that smells a lot stronger all of a sudden.
The only way I can describe what it looked like, it's not like anything I've ever seen before. It was like a black hood, I suppose like a monk, but the face was like wrapped in bandages. Like old-fashioned bandages, like the whole head was wrapped in like a bandage, but the hood was up. Saying I'm going to struggle in here tonight. But anyway, that is just, I don't know, I've genuinely never seen anything like that before.
Fuck was that?
What?
There was like 2 taps.
I thought it was your foot coming
No,
through.
that was 2 taps.
Okay.
Literally on the floor somewhere. Sorry for my language. Did you hear it?
I heard it, but I thought it was your feet coming through.
No,
I thought
it was like
a heel toe.
no, it was like that exact pattern.
I'm going to struggle in here, sorry. But anyway, I genuinely have never seen anything that looks like that before. Just, I've never seen it in a horror film, I've never seen it in a history book, I don't know. Perhaps there's a reason for it. Maybe it's completely psychological, but I don't understand where the bandages would come from around the head. And it looked like it was trying to climb up, almost like in a sort of decrepit state. I suppose like rising from the dead, I suppose, is probably the best way of describing it. But it wasn't very nice, and it shook me up a little bit, that. The other thing we had in here, when I actually went out into the graveyard, set that laptop camera up, it's on the shelf over there, as you can see. You actually said that it looked like Elizabeth's eyes followed us.
Just the one. Which again, we've discussed in the past on previous videos. It looks like her eyes follow you. It again could be psychological and in your head.
Could be, yeah. Mate, that REM pod's moving.
What do you mean? How can a REM pod move?
I don't know.
What do you mean the REM pod's moving?
Mate, okay. It was like, all I could see was the red dot. It was like the red dot was doing this. Circling.
Really?
Whether perhaps there was a fly around it moving the shadow, I don't know. It looked like it was vibrating or shaking or moving.
Okay. Interesting.
So anyway, that's the plan for tonight. Smell burning?
Yeah, all of a sudden out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. No fire.
That happened last time.
But
no fire, no smoke.
no.
But that's quite a strong smell of burning.
Do you know what? I'm really, really gonna fucking slip in here, bro. I'm not even convinced I'm gonna be able to do this.
What was that?
Just fuck knows. It's like there's someone in here with us. It's exactly as it was last time. But I'd say it's actually starting faster and more intense. Anyway, I'm going to set up the SLS camera there tonight.
It's yet to go on the rig.
So, because last time we were here, once again, I'm sure I caught something on the SLS.
Yeah.
But we had problems with the recording. Just see if
we had a lot of problems last time.
Well, it was. I'm hoping I'm going to check again on all the cameras tonight. So if anything does stop them or anything, you know, I can get them re-going. So that's my plan. So I have the SLS running in here. Camera angle, I've got locked off camera on Henry. Hopefully Elizabeth and the K2 has been picked up by that camera. And we'll see what happens. So I think the whole of this investigation is just going to be 2 solo investigations really, isn't it?
Basically.
Saw a flicker of light behind you. It's literally like a purple light just flew across there.
Purple. You said last time it was like a blue light on me.
Purple, just straight across there. Last time I thought we'd debunked it as the camera light. There's no cameras down there this time.
True.
So anyway, we're going to set up the SLS now, split up, and we'll see you in a minute. I'll let you join the camera up. Oh, you prick. Fucking unnecessary.
What did you say?
I said, you prick.
Right guys, so we are just about to start now the investigation tonight. I am just stood outside the church and
here's Nathan. Through the church window, if I can grab that properly. Best of luck to you tonight.
Yeah, you too, mate.
I'm just about to go for a wander. I don't envy you in there.
No, I'll see you later. Fucking starting already, I can tell. Right, I'll
Right.
see you later on.
on that note, I am off.
Nice. See you, mate.
Good luck.
I'm going to go this way.
Right.
Yep.
Fucking hate you.
You what?
Fucking hate you.
Why?
Doesn't matter. Anyway, peace out.
It could be because I locked him in there.
Right, so here I am in St Mary's Church. Got the SLS on me.
Right, so what Nathan is actually doing is he's got the SLS camera running on him tonight, because it was actually in there last time where he saw like a face or a shadow, something started forming on the SLS, but it was actually in the doorway of the church. So now he's locked in there with the SLS on.
Fucking nervous. REM pod's bleeping already. Oh my god, I don't believe this. The REM pod's bleeping and my torch has stopped working. Listen to the clicking. I've just been using this torch, it's stopped working.
I'm just going for a wander round.
The fuck, man. Literally, Brian's been gone 2 minutes. My torch is packed up, which I've been using, fine. It's had new batteries in. Well, you probably seen me on a minute ago using it. The REM pod started bleeping, which has now stopped. I'll be honest, I'm totally blinded now. I've got no fucking torch. The lights that are here is in my face. This is not the fucking start I wanted. I can't understand why this torch isn't working.
I'm going to go where it felt like something ran at me earlier. Let's see what happens.
Use this torch on every investigation. Ah, it's come back. My torch has come back and the REM pod started bleeping again. My torch looks really dim. And they're brand new batteries. I put them in the car, parked up on the location. I wonder, does that mean something's been draining the batteries from my torch, and that drainage is setting the REM pod off, and I feel really tight around my neck.
Right, the graveyard has gone eerily quiet now. You come here originally and the sound of birds happen, and you come here at night and the sound of no one, apart from some clanking of some bottles from the nearby pub. It's just weird how like everything dies. And speaking of that, there's actually a story I think. Ooh, I thought I just saw a flash behind me then. There's actually a story that Nathan had actually forgotten to mention when he was in the church earlier. He reckoned that I didn't see it, luckily. But when he was in the church, there was a blackbird that flew straight past him, hit the wall, and I believe died, fell into the bushes behind him. I didn't see that, but it's just weird how it always seems to happen at these abandoned churches. I remember being at Colston Bassett and there were a load of dead pigeons, I think it was, on the floor. I've just seen another flash behind me and that just disappeared. I don't know what that was.
If there's anybody here with me, I want you to come and stand here, where my right hand is. Come and stand next to me. Some fucking really weird noises going on. Sound like glass smashing then. It's just fucking weird. Ask again, if there's anybody here, come and stand next to me. Come and hold my hand. REM pod's still going off. Stopped again.
Okay, I can hear voices. And I can hear shuffling. Right, I'm going to call out. If there's anybody, any spirits in this graveyard with us tonight, with me in this graveyard tonight. Holy shit. Right. Shadow. Reflection of the tomb there. Jesus, I thought that was a person. I think I actually just shit my pants.
Is anybody here with me? Come away from that red light. And come and hold my hand. Come away from there and come and hold my hand. Come on, come forward and hold my hand for me.
I've never been a big fan of graveyards. They always creep me out. And people say that graveyards shouldn't be haunted, but with our experience in graveyards, Dowells, Colston Bassett, it does make you think otherwise. If there's anybody with me in this graveyard tonight, I'd like you to know that I come in peace. I'm not here to be disrespectful. I don't mean you any harm. I come with nothing but love. I'm here to find evidence of the paranormal, the afterlife. I'm here to find evidence of spirits, if they exist. I'm here to communicate. If there's any spirits in this graveyard, can you please make your presence known?
All we want to do is communicate. Fucking REM pod is going to drive me mad. It's almost like as I look at the REM pod, it stops.
You can make your presence known to me by appearing on my camera next to me or in front of me. You can make your presence known by speaking if you like. I've had that before. I've had a spirit talk to me before and whisper something into my camera.
Right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
The REM pod was going a little bit crazy, so I've left it off. But I'm also
Thinking these walkie-talkies will interfere with it anyway.
so it's best to keep it off.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And just for the record, you may...
You shit me up there.
Good, because I'm not having a
Very good time in here.
That was a bit of payback for Antwerp Mansion, that was, but I hope you're okay. It's quite funny because at Antwerp Mansion, every time I buzzed him, when we split up there, literally every time I buzzed him, he was waiting for an EVP response, and every time he was listening, that's all he heard. Talking of EVPs, I'll do an EVP session here. This is where I was stood earlier, where I had that strange feeling like something running through me. I don't know, it's really hard to explain. So I'm going to perform an EVP session now.
You make a noise for me.
I have just said if there are any spirits here, you can obviously whisper something to me. You can whisper something into my microphone on the camera, so it picks it up nice and clear for me, and I can hear it back at another time. Or you can whisper it into this box in my hand.
Was it you I saw? If it was, can you tell me when you had bandages on your face? What happened to you? Fucking not enjoying this at all. Not fucking enjoying this at all. No part of me is enjoying this. This is a horrible place.
EVP session number 1, St Mary's Church. If there is a spirit present in this graveyard tonight, can you please let me know? Please speak into the box I'm holding in my hand to give me a clear message and a clear indication that there is somebody here.
To be here in the dark. On my fucking own. Knowing the stories. What the fuck was that? It's like someone's throwing pebbles or stones inside the church. It's a proper... Oh, it's kind of so cold. Really cold. I can smell burning again. For those who haven't seen the first video, I don't really want to talk about this right now, to be honest, but there was 2 young boys. Noise again there then. Who somehow got trapped in this church and burned to death. They're camping here. It's only psychological. The fact Brian slammed that door shut as he left makes me feel even more isolated. Oh, that wasn't nice. There was a heavy noise over there then. heavy noise, and that's exactly where I thought I saw that figure.
I'm going to listen to that one back. Fuck was that? EVP session number 1. St Mary's Church. Just had that vibrating again. Probably a bug. If there is a spirit present in this graveyard tonight, can you please let me know? Please speak into the box I'm holding in my hand to give me a clear message and a clear indication that there is somebody here.
Right, we'll get the spirit box. And we'll see if Brian's ready. Start the spirit box experiment.
Right, normally we don't actually get anything on these. These EVP recorders are really high quality, and I don't think we've ever actually caught anything unusual on them. Which is a good thing, because normally if it's recorded in low quality settings, that's where you get a lot of noises that can be misheard as EVPs, basically. These are pretty good.
Right, are you ready to start?
Are you ready to start the spirit box experiment?
I'm willing to start if you're ready.
I'm hearing lots of noises here from where I saw the figure.
What sort of noises are you hearing?
Like stones again.
Okay, yeah, so if you're ready, then give me the nod and we'll start.
I'll just set the spirit box up and I'll tell you when it's going.
Alright, so Nathan's just buzzed me through the walkie-talkie. Obviously I've had quite an easy experience at the moment. Don't feel too bad still. I have felt a lot of movement, like things moving around. It is dark, could be wildlife, could be nothing. Whereas Nathan on the other hand is reporting hearing strange noises, and again I don't think he's too happy in that churchyard. In that church. That EVP session that I did a minute ago, it sounded like a little bit of interference at the end. It could just be the way I was holding the device. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to obviously watch that back and find out. But as I was saying, it's very unusual for us to actually capture something on those devices. So if we have caught something, then that would be a first, which would be incredible.
Just for reference, I'm not going to speak during this spirit box session. I'm just going to listen. I'm not going to say a word. I don't want to influence anything. Brian's going to ask the questions. I'm just going to focus on listening. Still hear fucking noises through that doorway.
So I've gone to the area where I was creeped out earlier. Couldn't hear anything. Haven't felt the same since. It was literally a one-off feeling. So I'm going to continue my journey around the churchyard now. Wait for Nathan to set the spirit box up, and once he's done so, we will begin the experiment finally. I'll be asking the questions, and Nathan will just be a sitting duck.
Ready when you are.
So it begins. If there are any spirits with Nathan in the church at the moment, please let your presence be known. Can you please tell me your name? If there is any spirit in the church right now, please show. know what I'm going to ask. It's a question I asked last time before things really started to kick off. Are you a little boy? Can you please provide us with your name? How old were you when you died? How did you die? Oh, I almost died there on the bloody slippy floor.
Sounded like a little boy then.
How long have you roamed in this churchyard? Suddenly got all out of breath.
Right, did you just breathe heavy down the...
Thingy.
No, I didn't, but that's interesting you said that.
Why?
Because I've just stopped, right, and I didn't have my hand on the
Or anything. But I've stopped just because I got out of
breath. And I'm stood in the same place of where I was earlier, where something went through me.
Literally, you asked
the
the question, and it sounded like come through the walkie-talkie.
Not the spirit box.
Okay, no, like you said, no pranks, no playing you up or anything like that.
But literally, I have just said out loud to the camera.
I've had to stop and I've puffed out and I've said,
It's because I feel really out of breath all of a sudden. That early on, it felt like something around my throat.
are you continuing with the spirit box experiment or?
Yeah, we were getting some good responses. There was definitely a voice of a little boy. I want to continue in a minute. I'll tell you when it's running.
Alright, so that's really, really interesting then. Kind.
Good to go.
Right, we're going to carry on. Was it you that just made the noise through the walkie-talkie? If it was you that please made that noise through the walkie-talkie, or the... There's a spirit of a little boy here, isn't there? Were you the spirit that was throwing rocks last time? If it was you that threw the rock last time, say it was me. Can you see there are two dolls?
There are two dolls in the church. If you see them, move them.
Which doll do you like the most? Henry or Elizabeth? Are you going to make your presence known to us clearly before we leave?
Are we in danger here?
Nath, can you hear me?
What's up?
Have you got a torch on in there?
Yeah. Okay, not to worry. That's fine.
I think we got some fairly good responses through that.
Okay, well, I only managed one EVP session in the graveyard itself. Do you want me to go and do some more, or shall I come and join you?
Do a few more. Have you noticed what a clear sky it is?
I have, yeah.
Do some more EVP sessions and then radio me when you're done.
Okie dokie, matey.
It's safe to say there's definitely some good responses to that. Spirit box. I'm feeling really like off balance.
Now I know he said to do an EVP session, but I haven't also done any K2 yet, so I'm going to quickly do a K2 session to see if there is anybody here, whether you can run through me again, and if you can, you'll be able to light this up.
Like my legs feel like jelly. Really weird, and I feel out of breath again. Just disorientated in general, out of breath, disorientated, giddy on my feet, weak. I feel really weird. Very, very, very peculiar feeling here. Whoa, my torch has just started flashing. You have to push the button to do that. I have not pushed that button. I'm presuming you'd hear the click anyway, but I have not pushed that button. So that's fucking weird again. So something's messing with my torch again. Just to show you, it's the same torch I use all the time. It's solid metal. It's not one of the fancy ones with loads of different settings. Solid piece of equipment I've used pretty much since day one.
Right, I'm back at the area yet again where something run through me earlier. What the fuck was that? Okay, that weren't good. Right, didn't like that. You wouldn't have seen it, I don't think. No, you wouldn't have seen it because the camera's facing me.
You good in that?
Yeah, you okay?
Yeah, I think so.
Think so, sounds ominous.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm a little bit confused, to be honest.
I've just said the same to the camera. I feel like totally disorientated, wobbly on my feet, hazy, like I can't think straight.
Right.
Are you okay?
I'm okay, sorry, yeah, I'm just trying to clear my head a bit.
Okay, radio me if you need me.
Sounds like he might be struggling as well.
So you wouldn't have seen it on camera then? But, because the camera was facing me. But obviously I can see the blackness behind me of the graveyard. If I just do that. Obviously you guys can see it in full spectrum, not dark. But right in front of me here, so I'm going to just show you in a second where it was exactly. But there was a very large orange orb that just literally flew in front of my eyes, and I mean it was big. We've only had it that once before, many years ago, before we actually started the paranormal in the terms of like the YouTube channel. It was where we used to go out investigating on our own before we did the channel, and I remember we both saw at one point this like massive orange orb, and it flew and shook violently as if to say go away, and it was actually in a graveyard. And I remember once we saw that, I had a little bit of a bad experience at home, as if basically something followed me back. Anyway, I'm going into a whole nother subject here, and that's just maybe a story for another video if somebody wants to actually hear the story to, you know, to what happened now. I've actually like lost my concentration here. That's actually really concerned me because I've never seen that since. I don't know what can do that. Maybe a type of bug, I'm not sure, but basically just a big orange orb right in front of my face, and I did say I'd show you, it's literally here, and all of a sudden I just feel very, very vulnerable again. But yeah, for anyone that actually wants to hear that story, let us know in the comments. Maybe I'll make a video telling the story.
I'm going to try one more thing before I meet back up with Brian. Brought this cross with me. I want whoever's here to come and take this cross. Pull it, move it, take it. Come near me and take this cross. And take it. I want you to have it. You've let us come and investigate, now come and take this cross. Want me to leave it here? And grab it and pull it off me, and you can have it. Come forward and take it.
I've just seen an orange orb.
Brian, are you by the church?
I'm not by the church, I am literally where I was.
The first time I think ran through me. You just heard what sounded like footsteps right the other side of the wall of the church. Can you confirm there's no one there?
What side exactly? And I will.
And where the laptop camera is.
Right, I'm on my way. Right, Nate's just said footsteps, so I'm going to go and investigate.
I see your green light.
I think you're fine.
Well, I don't know if it's fine or not, if it's not a real person.
What side are you talking?
Fuck's sake, you
Sorry.
bastard.
I thought you meant here.
But yeah, that's what I meant, but
Yeah.
I heard something there, so I turned round.
That side.
But I heard it where you are.
Oh. I've just had to double check around the perimeter of the church to make sure Nate's okay. I got him. I didn't actually mean to. But I'm coming round now because I'm back up by the church anyway. Right, so
Right, that scared the crap out of me. Brian just come and shook his head through the window with a torch. He's coming back round to the church now. And I think that's probably going to be it for tonight. As time's getting on. To be honest, I think we probably have caught a fair bit, I'd imagine. It seems so active here. I don't want to leave. I really don't want to leave. It feels so active. I thought I saw Elizabeth's hand move then. Probably psychological, but that's one that I'll be checking on the cameras. Brian opened the door. But unfortunately,
But you got that was me.
time's ticking. I certainly am, mate. I've got to be honest, this is probably the hardest lone session I've done since I've been doing the paranormal.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think. Either this or obviously what happened at the Ram, but at the moment
This is on par with the
My
run.
heart is pumping so fast. Genuinely feeling like I'm going to have a heart attack or something. Like, it's just all around you. All around you, all the time. Fucking, when I first come in here, the REM pod started going off and my torch just went out.
Really?
I was like, okay, that's weird. REM pod was on and off, and I had to turn that off, and then my torch went from that to that.
Right.
Just on its own.
Once again, let's point out they're fully charged batteries.
My torch went out completely, just wouldn't come back on.
Yeah.
The noises I've been hearing are horrible, and some of the responses we got in the spirit box seemed really good.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I could hear of quite a bit what was said, but I didn't want to talk and interfere with it. And so there's footsteps there again then. Did you hear that?
I didn't know, but you literally the other side. Is
Yeah,
that what you're saying?
literally just the other side of that wall.
Like you're
Almost
being
like
clever.
someone's looking through the window at me.
No wonder you wanted him to come over.
Hear
Right.
it again?
I didn't hear that.
Again, right behind that window. It's like there's someone shuffling around, peeking through the window.
But I know that we're going to make a move very, very shortly. And we're no longer in the mood for any games. So if you're going to show yourself or do something, now is your last chance before we go. And please do something big and proper to show us that you're here, once and for all. And we'll leave you to it. No more games. You hear that?
I heard that right behind you there. Right there. Somewhere around there.
Come on, we're here to meet you.
There you go, look.
That's, hopefully I should have that because...
Literally. I mean, the only thing I did then, I moved the end of it, the zoom.
Which don't...
Hang on, that's just...
Oh, you might have debunked that one then. But that shouldn't even...
I'm zooming it. I might be the back of my hand. Okay, I might have debunked that one.
Maybe. You didn't know. That I can confirm, I can fully see the back of your torch there, and that wasn't...
And if you look at the back of the torch, the button's actually indented.
Did you it?
That's a bug for you.
That is a bug. Do you know, I will say that did actually creep me out when I was doing the lone vigil. I heard that
The
again.
bugs?
Yeah. It is. It's just, it makes you jumpy, doesn't it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've got to be honest, I'd love to stay all night here. Right until morning. But I think we've done quite a while now. To be honest, I don't know what's left to do here. I feel like... Hear the footsteps again. I feel like whatever's here is here, and it potentially doesn't want us here. I can still hear the noises, and it will move around you, throw things, make noises, but I don't think it will come closer.
It hasn't got the balls to do it.
I don't think it wants to communicate. I think it wants to scare us away, but I don't think it wants to communicate. And unfortunately, in some respects, that actually limits what we're able to do.
Do you know if you got anything on the SLS?
I haven't noticed anything. Unfortunately, the torchlight's in my face, so
Right.
I can't see it that well.
Okay.
And there's been points where I've had my back to it, so you'll have to watch it back. I haven't noticed anything.
Okay.
We'll have to see. So on that note, guys, it feels like silence is never going to fall on St Mary's Church in Tintern. It's a great place to investigate. Creepy. Darker than most places, if I'm honest. But I think whatever's here is not willing to communicate. I think it doesn't want us here, but I don't think it wants to communicate. So on that note, we've been the Paranormal Detectives. This is the last episode of Series 5 now, isn't it?
It is.
So we're going to
We're going to have a few weeks off, aren't we?
a few weeks off. Until next time, thank you for watching. Thanks for your support as always. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe and hit that bell notification, because if you don't, you might miss any future updates or episodes. Honestly, I know we always say it, but your support means the absolute world to us. It basically encourages us to keep doing what we do. Without you guys, there'd be no us. So thank you for everything, and until next time, keep seeking the truth. Good night. fucking torch has just stopped again. Just rolled the outro. There's something going on with this place. Let's get out of here.